Hello again to you all. I am Catherine Myrie, and I welcome you back to True Matters of the Heart. Blessings upon you. And I hope you had the opportunity to watch my last video, God's Address to the Nation. And I certainly hope that something I said in that presentation was meaningful to you in some way and impacted your life. And as I mentioned, over these next few months, I will bring to you some of the principles that I discussed during that presentation, and to delve deeper and unpack, deeper meaning. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the very heart of God, and that is relationships. God modeled relationships, and relationship means the most to Him. Throughout His Word, He talks about relationship. And y'all, we yearn for relationship. He created us for relationship. That deep inner yearning within our souls, within our hearts, to have intimate connection with those He connected us to. And we know that no matter what we accomplish in this world, no matter our titles, our degrees, the amount of money, whatever we accomplish, albeit good, it cannot fill us like relationships. So, y'all, why is relationship so hard to have? We know the answer to that. Anything that means the most to God also means the most to our enemy. And as God came to give the abundance and the overflow, the enemy came to destroy, to steal, to kill. And so, y'all, we got to be aware of his tactics. But more importantly, we got to be aware of God's promises and what He's made available to us. And although relationships are hard, I promise you it's not impossible. It's not impossible to heal and to allow God to open up more what He intended in those relationships that means the most to us. And so today I have invited my sister-in-law, to join us, and she'll be with us in just a moment. But we're going to be talking about how relationships can start off at a dark place, or a place that God does not intend, because the enemy can taint what is available in relationships. And so we started off in a place of strain that only got worse over time. And certainly we can settle for superficial relationships, going through the motion. But God has so much more in store. And so, y'all, we have to continually pray and examine ourselves to see if we're giving God room to work through us to heal brokenness in our lives. Because when the healing, there's the illumination of who He is. So take a look at this video. And at the end, I'll come back and share more with you about relationships and true matter of the heart. Thank you again for looking in. Welcome back to True Matters of the Heart. And today I have with me my sister-in-law, Latitia. And as I had mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about relationships, and we're going to talk about our relationship and just how the relationship has moved from a place of strain and struggle to a place of love and affection. And Latitia, I thank you for joining me today.
I am so excited to be here. Relationships is definitely something that's very important to me, and I am amazed at how God has worked in our relationship. So it's an honor to be here and help other people out in any way we can. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And so, we took some time and just talked about, the dynamics of our relationship. And today I just want to kind of help those that's looking in to understand that no matter what the relationship looks like at an initial point, there's always so much more available. And if I can start by just talking about my perception of you and how I, feel the relationship initially got started, and the struggle and the strain. When I first met you, it's been about 20 years. You again are my husband's sister. And when I first met you and your family, I think I was kind of just quiet and observant, and quiet and observant because I was trying to figure out who are these people, and what are they really about, and just what were your motives. Um, and so I can tell you that my first impression perhaps wasn't as good as I would have hoped. My brother had talked about you so much, and how he admired you and how awesome his sisters were, and he was just glad that, in his opinion, we were similar. I remember him saying, we were similar. We both loved the Lord, and we both had, a good heart, and he really thought that we were going to have a good relationship. And unfortunately, that was not the case. And so, and I can tell you, it started just before the wedding. Before the wedding, Mike and I had talked about some things we wanted to do at the wedding, and we were excited, and I was excited about it. And the day before the wedding, he came home with an attitude, and let me know, no way were we going to do this particular event that we had planned at the wedding. He had come back from a meeting with you, and he came back with a sour taste in his mouth, and I was, I don't know, I was thrown. Um, I was thrown. Mm-hmm. Nothing I can say. I felt like you all had so much influence in his life, and I can tell you right off the bat, I had a measure of resentment. Mm-hmm. And so, before I go any further, I just want to get your opinion as to, how did you receive me
in the beginning?
Yeah.
Well, in the beginning, when we first met, the very first thought I had was that there was a wall up. Mm-hmm. I felt like I wasn't meeting the genuine person. I felt like, my brother had told me a lot about you. He was very excited about you. So I was, very excited to meet you. And all that he had said on the outside, it's true. You're beautiful. You seem to be very intelligent, a very, a successful person. And you told me you love the Lord. And so, but the initial meeting was, I felt like I wasn't meeting the genuine you. Like, mm-hmm. There was some wall up there. And I also initially thought, wow, this person at some place has been hurt some kind of way, because that's usually what causes, people to put walls up. So that was my initial impression in terms of, just that wall. Mm-hmm. And then I remember quite well the incident you're talking about with the wedding. And from my perspective of it, it seemed like a step that was being done to not fully embrace our family, or to exclude our family out of it. Our family had been a very close family. I had two brothers and one other sister, and mm-hmm. the siblings, we're pretty close. And so it just felt like that our family and his extended family was not being included in the wedding. So that was kind of the initial seed that was planted for me, that, oh, this person wants to take have my brother add him to her life, but let's leave the rest of the family, at bay, or just let me limit, their interaction into our lives, our new lives that we're creating. So that for me, that's where the resentment came in, and I felt like my brother was, being taken away. I know relationships change, obviously, when people get married, right. But I felt like this was like a relationship that was like, I can take or leave you guys, and I prefer to leave y'all.
Okay. You know what? And so let me go back first and acknowledge what you just said about hurt or a wall. And absolutely, I know I had a wall up, and I had a wall up because I found that people can be hurtful, and over years, that's just been my experience with people. No matter how genuine I'm trying to be and how I've tried to have relationship, I seem to have been hurt so many times. And not just hurt from people, out in the world, people you meet on the job, or friends, people in family, people in my own family. And so certainly I figure, family can hurt you. Certainly, be cautious when you enter into a relationship with people outside of your family. And so that's why I say, when I was just observant, when I first met you all, trying to figure you out, I just wanted to see what kind of person you were. Mm-hmm. Would I be able to let down my guard? And after that incident,
you said
after
no.
that incident, I'm like, okay, yeah. No. There was something there that I felt like I wouldn't be able to, embrace you all to the degree that I had hoped. And so So you are right. But also, it wasn't that I was trying to bring a divide or take Mike away. I truly had tried to include in that particular event, extended to members of his family, and it wasn't well received. And he and I talked about it. We talked about how we could include, the family members. And when it wasn't received, we said, okay, we'll proceed anyway. And perhaps later on, the family can grow closer. You can learn how to, be more of a unit. And so, but after he came back from a visit with you, and he just shot it down. He just shot it down. And I realized sometimes, we jump to conclusions. We don't have all the information. I couldn't understand why he shot it down. And he just wouldn't even listen to me as it relates to, how much it meant to me. And it meant a lot to me. And it really hurt me that he put what you all thought over what he and I had already agreed. So that put a very sour taste in my mouth. But we did go on with the event. And again, I tried to extend it to the family at the wedding. Tried to make approach to the family to let your family know how much I wanted us to be a family. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy, or it would just take time. And I was open and willing for us to grow.
Yeah, I think, like you said, how you start in a relationship with someone it so impacts the rest of the relationship in so many ways. And like you said, because that put a sour taste in your mouth on your side, perceiving our negative influence. On my side, the sour note or the sour taste that it put in me is the feeling, as I said before, like that, my brother is being taken away, the relationship is just going to be limited. And so because that was my thought based on the first action, everything I saw you, many things I saw you doing after that kind of in my mind fed into that. So then like when I would see you at family gatherings and I would sense that you weren't comfortable being there, and in the beginning I would try to go and make myself friendly. I said, well, I know she doesn't know people, let me make myself friendly and interact. And then I would still feel like, I would get the chilliness or coolness or the wall. Or when I would see you come or not come to family events, or you would come and then leave early, it just kept sending the same message to me that, okay, this person, this really doesn't want to embrace our family. This person, wants Michael, but she doesn't want the rest of the family. So that kept hurting me again, like, she doesn't want, thinking about that incident in the beginning. And like you say, where something starts, you just feel like it keeps feet, the actions that you see in a person, you feel like that person is just still confirming what you thought. Even if it's an error, you just feel like, okay, they're confirming what I thought. This person doesn't want this relationship. And so that it just kind of continued on, from there.
You know what? And that's funny you said that, because it to me, it was just such a constant struggle for me and my husband to find a rhythm, to become that one that, you say and hope for when you get married. And this part of the struggle, a big part of the struggle was, his family involvement or influence in his life. And we had so many, issues. It's no matter what he and I talked about or decided or tried to do, it's almost like he needed validation, from his family. He needed to come and get your opinion, y'all perspective on it. And the opinion and perspective always influence the outcome of what we do in the house, what we decided to do. So I admit there was some, like, who is this family?
What's wrong with these crazy people?
What's going on here? It's like, I thought I was marrying him, and it's like I got to try to, it was just a constant battle. So I remember the day where, or the times where I tried to talk to him about, okay, Mike, how are we going to become one when it seems like there's so much influence? And I tried to, get him to accept me for me, accept me as his wife, as who he said he loved and wanted to start a life with. And then him accepting me had to include you all too, or me accepting you. And it was hard, it was. And so he was not as open as I hoped about just hearing me and what I needed as it relates to our marriage. So I remember I called you up and I said, can I come talk to you? And my thought was to or my hope was to talk to you about, can you just give us a moment? My husband highly values your opinion, and it seems like your opinion is always influencing my household, and he wasn't receptive to lessen his engagement with you all. So I thought I could persuade you, to give us a moment. So I came to your house, and I can say that didn't go the way I hoped. And I'll let you give a little of your insight about that.
Yes, I remember that day well, and I told you I remember it as thinking in my mind. I remember more so my thoughts and probably even some of what you said, but I remember my thoughts in the moment was, no, she is not in my house with a PowerPoint presentation telling me about how to interact with my brother. So that, but again, it just confirmed in my spirit, based on what in my heart, based on what had happened, at the beginning of our relationship, that once again, here's this person that Catherine is trying to limit my relationship with my brother. And I think that might have been one of the toughest moments for me, because I think it was tough because, it's interesting how people, again, have different perspectives, and you're thinking one thing and saying one thing and I'm thinking another. Because for me, I had been backing up. I felt like, because I don't know how many years you guys have been married by that point, but I remember in the early years, once I realized, some of the dynamics was going on, I was trying to back up. And I felt like I was missing relationship or interaction with my brother, but I was trying to limit it because I knew it was putting a strain on the relationship. So when you came and made that request, I was like, okay, there's more. Like this, to me, it was almost like back up even further. It's like, and again, in my mind, I'm hearing almost limit to no relationship with your brother, and so that just hurt me. And that was a hard moment for me. That when you came, and when I look back on it, I realized that you were trying to make an effort to, lessen some of the strain in the relationship. But in that moment, all I really saw was as about me and my brother's relationship, and this and what I felt like I had been trying to make sacrifices. It was all what I heard from you was make more, back up even further. And so that was hard for me in that moment. And I know it didn't go, you didn't receive it well.
Yeah, no, I didn't. And I remember leaving, and it really, like I said, it just didn't go well. And I come to understand that sometimes, no matter your intent or your approach, the enemy does not want, healing and reconciliation in a relationship. So you remained a thorn in my flesh when I left. And I really didn't know what was the next step. I didn't know, what to do. And the strain continued in the household, and the strain continued in our relationship. And it was just a hard time. And so I can tell you, I certainly thought about, what, I'm out of here. He can have his family. This is too hard. And certainly I thought about divorcing, but but I did love the Lord, and I didn't just want to walk away from the relationship, because I know God intend much in marriage and relationship. So I hit my pause button, and I realized that sometimes we do things, or I do things, or we can, based on what we think we should do. And and our intent could be genuine, but have we given God room to work through our intent? And I don't think I gave God room. I just kind of put in my mind, this is what I'm going to do, and that's what I'm going to do. But when nothing worked, then what do you do?
Catherine Myrie launched Higher Heights Counseling Services, LLC, in 2016. Since its conception, she has aspired to provide a level of therapeutic services that will permanently change lives and positively impact individuals, families, and communities. She has always had a heart for young ladies and women and has dedicated most of her focus on developing workshops, providing training and counseling to assist those she serves not only to cope but heal from current circumstances, past trauma, depression, and anxiety. Her goal is to position her clients and realize and release their full potential. Catherine has assisted many individuals, couples, and families transform, transcend, and thrive in life. She is committed to assisting others overcome and reach new levels in life. She believes settling for less because of status or condition should never be the final option. If you're in need of counseling services, visit Higher Heights Counseling Services LLC at www.higherheightscounseling.com.